Welcome back to another episode of HTF Bets. As always, I'm your host, Riley Sheppard. Following an exciting Week 6 in the NFL, along with opening week for the NBA in full swing, there's a lot to dive into in today's show. So without further ado, HTF Bets starts now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome back, Riley Sheppard alongside my co-host Jeff Laux and Weluka Costa. And boys, the NBA is back. How was the Magic and Pistons game last night?
Very promising.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Pistons fan, as a Magic fan, we can both agree that the young talent is finally showing itself.
Well, Luka, what'd you think?
I was worried about the Bulls, because we actually won our game, So, it just seems like my team just tend, when I get into it, my teams just tend to be the ones, that win. You got the Bulls, Eagles, Arsenal, but what can I say?
I was torn watching that Magic Pistons game last night as a fan of both teams, but let's dive into our Beast, Best, Bust. And Jeff, you had our Beast this week.
Front row, actually second row at the game, Cleveland versus the Patriots. And shout out my man Bailey Zappi for absolutely shredding my feelings, because it's been 2 years in a row where the Browns have been beat by 2 rookie QBs back-to-back. Mac Jones last year against New England, and then this year Bailey Zappi. So teams, NFL, if you have a first or second year guy that's not named Joe Burrow because he hasn't beat the Browns yet, then please come play us, because you might have a good chance of winning. So Bailey Zappi, who no one really knew about because he's coming from Western Kentucky, he threw for almost 6,000 yards while completing 475 out of 686 passes, which is 70% of his passes in college. Ridiculous. 62 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Dude was a slinger in college, but everything from college doesn't translate for professionals always. And Bailey Zappi against the Browns, 24 for 34. 309 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and only 1 fumble loss on a crazy Myles Garrett strip sack, which didn't cause anything in the game because Zappi still remained positive, still remained on his edge. He also is the first rookie QB in the Super Bowl era to win and post a 100-plus passer rating in his first 2 starts ever.
Yeah.
That is insane for a QB that was a 5th or 6th round pick, wasn't even talked about for the Patriots. Now coming in, he might even overthrow Mac Jones. How are you guys feeling about it?
I did not think highly of Bailey Zappi going into their matchup against the Lions. I thought third-string quarterback starting against the Lions. What is he going to do? He's not going to be that productive. And he tore us up. The 29-0 played your Browns this week. We have dealt the unfortunate hands of facing off against Bailey Zappi in the first 2 weeks. And like you said, there might be an actual QB competition now in New England. Luka, what do you think?
I was going to say Bailey Zappi has, he's done his thing. He's balled out the last 2 games. But, Jeff, please correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you go to the same exact game last year and watch them lose?
Against a rookie
it's the
quarterback?
sad reality of a Browns fan. It's the sad reality of a Browns fan. You pay lots of good money to watch a team go out there and play like buffoons. But what I got to say is Bailey Zappi really impressed me, and a lot of the fans around me were saying, hey, Bailey Zappi could be the answer for Mac Jones. And I don't think that is too far-fetched, because Bailey Zappi inside the pocket, he's so comfortable. Myles Garrett was breaking through their left tackle Brown all game long, and he was still remaining composed, still remaining the same QB that Bill Belichick and Steve Belichick would want to have as the QB. So I could see them overall throwing out Mac Jones and place for Bailey Zappi.
No, and I think it's a small sample size. I think it's 2 games compared to a whole season, Mac Jones last season. But when is Mac Jones expected to return?
So he's questionable / doubtful right now. I think they're going to wait 1 or 2 more games, probably not rush him back in there, because since Bailey Zappi is doing such a wonderful job.
Why not, right? He's won both of his starts so far. Who would you take right now, Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi?
I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. It's not just saying Bailey Zappi. Like, I have never been that high of a fan of Mac Jones. I really never thought he was that nice to be the stack. But the stats are saying Bailey Zappi. If I'm a Pats fan, if you ask me, bro, this is the same thing that's happening in Dallas. Cooper Rush or Dak. This is the exact same thing. So,
I wouldn't say that. But
I'm just saying.
Transitioning from there into a different NFC East team, Luka's NFC East team. Philadelphia Eagles are 6-0. And I had the best this week, so I had to go with their secondary against Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys this past weekend. Cooper Rush did not throw one interception over his first 5 starts, threw 3 against the Eagles, so I had to go with the Eagles secondary, especially C.J. Gardner, Darius Slay, and James Bradbury. 4 pass deflections from Bradbury, 2 interceptions from Gardner Johnson. The Eagles secondary looked legit against our early season MVP, Cooper Rush, right?
I'm just saying, better than Dak. Better than Dak. So, yeah, no, it feels good.
You know, and this is a team that had 5 starters replaced heading into the season. First time since 2009, Philly has allowed less than 17 points in 5 straight games. The only game they allowed more than 17 points was against the Lions. Are the Eagles a team to beat in the NFC?
What do you think?
They are for real. They are for real. And imagine if Fletcher Cox, you could bring Fletcher Cox from 6 years ago and place him on this team. That team would be ridiculous.
Right.
Like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. Imagine those guys on the D-line with the secondary I'll have now. I mean, Philly, look at that UF boy, Gardner Johnson, left Saints greener pastures, and now he's balling. So
right,
I agree.
He's not the only player that was on a different team. 5 starters on this Eagles defense were on different teams last season. 1 rookie. Talk about your team.
Bro, listen, don't get me started, man. We're revamped. You know, we're the real deal. We're serious, you know? Like, you know, I've been saying, bro, people were calling me crazy. Not everyone, but people wanted to hate on Jalen Hurts last year. And now look at him. Now what? I don't hear it. Y'all hear something? I don't hear nothing. But Jalen Hurts is the boy, you know. We brought Devontae Smith in. He's starting to show his class. A.J. Brown, oh my goodness. Not even him catching the ball. His route running alone brings so many defenders. Like you said, that secondary is something serious. You brought in James Bradbury from the Giants. Shout out Nate, by the way, because the Giants are 5-1. So, you know, shout out the Giants. But, yeah, man, we're the real deal. We're the team to beat. So, hopefully we can continue this. Hopefully I didn't just jinx ourselves.
Jeff, if there's one team that can beat the Eagles right now, who would it be?
Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Travis
say
Kelce.
No, for
Travis
sure.
Kelce single-handedly will beat any team.
No, and honestly, I was gonna say the Eagles. I think there are multiple teams right now that can beat
Yeah.
the Eagles. Like they're doing their thing, but you know, every team is beatable. So
Yeah, and we only have 2 minutes left for this part of the show, so I want to toss it to Luka really quick for his bust.
listen, y'all know it's normal for them to give me the least amount of time. So you know we're gonna get straight into it. So the bust for this week is Man City moving to Liverpool 1-0. Liverpool was 12th place in the Premier League before going into this game, but you know that boy big time Mo Salah. You know what I'm saying? Ezra back there crying right now because his team lost 1-0 to Mo Salah. João Cancelo made a terrible play on the ball to try and attempt and take it off Mo Salah's back, but Mo Salah slaughtered it. He has 6 contributions in 10 Premier League games this season, and Man City had 63% of the possession to Liverpool's 37% and tripled their shots on target 6-2. This was Man City's game to win, especially with Liverpool on low form. So, you know, it's just really a game that they should not have lost. Jeff, how do you feel about this? I know you're a big soccer guy, you know.
So the thing is, the Premier League is so in a weird spot right now because you have Arsenal, you have Man City, and then you go down, you have Man U, and they're going with their Cristiano Ronaldo drama.
Yeah.
It's. I really don't think it's that big of a deal you're making it out to be because they have Erling Haaland at the end of the day. Erling Haaland, and he will continue to ball. So we're going to have to see. I'm happy for your boys, though. Congrats to your first place, Arsenal.
You know,
Congrats.
listen, all I gotta say is, you know, Man City's second in the Premier League behind Arsenal, so I'm gonna leave it at that. You know.
And now that is all the time we have for this part of the show, but don't go anywhere because Andrew Montana is joining us for our fantasy football talk. Jeff is going to be over on the green screen, so we will be right back.
Welcome to HTF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Weluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, wait a second.
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Oh. so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. Andrew Montana joined us for fantasy football. Andrew, this is your first time on HTF Bets. How does it feel?
I'm excited. Looking forward to some bets, maybe get into a little fight here and there with Jeff.
Now, that's the whole reason we brought you on the show, is to fight Jeff and his Cleveland Browns. Andrew, I know you're a big NBA guy, even though we're talking fantasy this segment. Through two nights of the NBA, what's been the best game so far?
So I did only watch the first two games, Celtics Sixers and Lakers Warriors. Out of those two games, I think the Celtics Sixers was definitely a really entertaining one to watch. It was really back and forth. Boston had the lead, had strength throughout the entire game. But James Harden really kept him in there. Yeah. Looking at Embiid's stats at the end of the game, he looked good, but I'm not going to lie, watching him play live was a little bit disappointing, to say the least.
Underwhelming.
Yeah. Lots of flops against guards. Like, come on.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah. But luckily, I have James Harden on my fantasy team. He pulled through, dropped more than like 40 fantasy points, which is huge. But I mean, I would say that was the best game that I've seen so far.
Now we'll talk some more NBA a little bit later, but Jeff is over on the green screen giving us his top 5 ads and drops heading into week 7. Jeff, take it away.
Gentlemen, welcome back to my ads and drops of the week. Thank you for having me. I'm glad that I have better picks than I did a couple weeks ago. So let's get into it. QB Matt Ryan of Indianapolis. I know Grant's loving this right now, but you need to add him. 12.5% of leagues only have that man right now. And he plays 2 or 3 super weak opponents coming up. He plays Tennessee, who their defense, what is their defense? And then Washington, who have a bunch of first rounders that are trying to act like they're an actual defense, but they're not actually a defense. So you need to put Matt Ryan in, because the last time that he played Tennessee, he threw up 356 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's an easy save for a team that maybe has a Kyler Murray that's, not performing as well. Maybe a team that has a bye week coming up. Definitely check out that man, aka Matt Ryan. For our second, it's going to have to slide over to the New York Giants' Wan'Dale Robinson. He's finally back from injury, and he's here to save the Giants and Austin Walker's mental. So let's talk about Mr. Wan'Dale. He's only owned in 6.5% of leagues, and guess what the Giants need? They need targets and weapons. That is something they are missing. They are throwing it to Tyler Bellinger right now. Who even is that? I'm about to add him in as a tight end, because he's literally at tight end 30 that's now moved up to tight end 8 because they have no weapons on the Giants. And then they have Saquon, who obviously is ran into the ground, and he's injured pretty much every other game. So highly recommend picking up Wan'Dale Robinson. He will not disappoint, because he was a beast at Kentucky. And he's also going to probably be the number 2 and number 3 option when he finally gets there to the healthy side. Number 3, the man that hurt my feelings on Sunday, Tyquan Thornton of the New England Patriots. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back just to hurt my feelings as a Browns fan, because you made our defense look silly. He is a speedster, and Belichick knows what to do with these type of players. He's using him in a Deebo Samuel-esque role, and he just got back from a broken collarbone, so he is full throttle ahead. He had 4 receptions, 37 yards, and then a rushing touchdown and a reverse play that was super clean. So you know how the 49ers like to use and abuse Deebo Samuel's talents? That is what the New England Patriots are going to do. Use him as a stash, even if you're worried about not getting him right now. Use him as a stash, because the only other receivers they have there is Devontae Parker, and they have Mr. Oh, see, that's the problem. You can't be thinking about weapons in New England and then having a blank in your mind. Jacoby Myers was his name, but he's going to be the 3rd option. So add that man. Now to our drops, my favorite list. This is going to be controversial, but first needs to be Deion Jackson at Indianapolis Colts. And I know everyone's asking, he just got 29 points. I just told him to pick him up last week, and he was first place in running back. But guess what? Jonathan Taylor's back, Nyheim Hines is back, and Philip Lindsay's back. 3 running backs that are all placed above him on the depth chart. I don't see Deion Jackson getting much PT after this, maybe a couple rack possessions, things like that. But drop that man. I know people picked him up. He's at 68% right now at ownership. They need to drop him. Second, Cam Akers. And this is a controversial pick, because he's a wonderful player, but he just has not done it the past year. He has not done it. And when he's been healthy, this year he's only had 33 total yards with 1 touchdown. That's not someone you want to pick in the top 4 or 5 rounds and then stash on your team. There's a lot of better running backs out there for you to go pick up. And it's time to rub off the Band-Aid. You can't be complacent in fantasy. If you keep them on your squad, you're risking a roster spot that you could possibly, vouch towards maybe even Melvin Gordon, who had an off week, but is also a running back 1, running back 2. Or you can switch it over to Kenyon Drake or Phillip Lindsay. A lot better options. So those are my drops of the week. How are you guys feeling?
Luca, I want to start with you because I heard you laughing a little bit at Wan'Dale Robinson.
Okay. For reasons that are not professional, I cannot explain why I was laughing at Wan'Dale Robinson. All I will say is reference TikTok. That is all I have to say about that. But Cam Akers, I think that is a very good drop. I myself have Cam Akers. Worst draft pick I've made all year long. I would have literally picked up anybody else. I promise you, I would have picked up Marcus Mariota on the spot of my team where I picked up Cam Akers. He has done nothing this entire year. He's at controversy with Sean McVay right now. He's on the trade block. I think that is a very good drop, and I 100% agree with you on that one. What do you think, Andrew?
I'm going to agree. Cam Akers, I mean, he's been out for, he was at week 6, and now he's got like a personal issue. And not only that, he's building beef with Sean McVay. Matt Ryan, I mean, look, he's got the mobility of a sidewalk, but he's going up against, like Jeff said, he's going up against subpar teams coming up next. So, I mean, I don't blame him for that. Same thing with Wan'Dale Robinson. But my little bone to pick with Jeff is Deion Johnson. Deion Jackson, my bad. I did some research this morning. First off, Jonathan Taylor isn't cleared to come back, according to what I saw. That's whatever. But regardless, with Jonathan Taylor being hurt, why would you want to drop Jackson if he's been putting up pretty good performances? Yeah. His last game, he had 12 carries, 42 yards, a touchdown, 10 out of 10 receptions for 79 passing yards.
Yeah, it's hard to bench somebody after, even if you do have JT. I think it's hard to bench somebody after that performance. Completely bench them. I still think he's going to get some production. But I do want to ask you something. How does Matt Ryan's production go down once all those guys come back? Why would you add him if the running game is going to be so strong?
So the reason you add Matt Ryan is because the running game opens up the passing game at the end of the day. And I want to go back to Deion Jackson real quick. Who we talked about 2 weeks ago? Mike Boone. He had 2 solid games, 3 solid games. Everyone's like, oh, add him. That's why you don't add these 3rd to 4th string running backs that just come in for injuries. Because guess what? They're going to be back on the bench, back as practice squad as scouting players once they're done as starters. So anyways, back to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is going to be a beast this week and the next week because he plays soft defenses. And I see that even if Jonathan Taylor's out, Nyheim Hines, Phillip Lindsay, and if Deion Jackson plays, they will all make a difference. And that O-line is starting to click. You can even ask Mr. Grant Wheeler. He's starting to be very, very happy behind the scenes because his O-line is starting to click like they should have been all season long. And when you protect Matt Ryan produces for you. And guess what in Atlanta you never had? An O-line. And he still took him to the Super Bowl. So I can see Matt Ryan make the ultimate turnaround and return that QB reel around to where he was in the Falcons.
Whoa, that's bold. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Andrew, what do you think?
I don't know if he's gonna go back to that Falcons version of himself, but he is going up against. Well, you said 2 really weak defensive teams. Jacksonville is top 10 in just overall defense. I mean, not only
they
that,
ain't playing Jacksonville, boy. You better start checking your stats. They're playing Tennessee and Washington. They already played Jacksonville and they won.
Ooh, okay, oh no. It was my thing is I low-key kind of, only reason I'm going to say yes to Matt Ryan pickup also is because Michael Pittman did just come back. Like, he's going to want to air the ball out. And Alec Pierce is balling right now. Like, that boy is getting shifty out there. You know what I'm saying? So
game-winning touchdown on Jacksonville.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, listen, I'm not going to lie. He's the new Hunter Renfrow. He's Hunter Renfrow from last year. All of a sudden, he's just popping off doing his thing. You know, the boy knows how to run routes and get the ball. So I kind of do also agree with the Matt Ryan pickup. You know what I'm saying?
Really quick, I just want to go into our current standings in our fantasy football league. I don't even really want to mention Luca's record. 1-5. Luca is 1-5. Austin Walker is still the only undefeated team left at 6-0.
Is that a coincidence?
No, he did make our schedule for fantasy, or our draft schedule. I'm sitting at 5-1, just behind him, and then Jeff is sitting right behind me at 4-2. Luca, unfortunately, is the only losing record in our league, but he's making up for in Surefire, which we'll get into in the next segment. Our matchups for this week, I take on Kelly Campbell. Austin Walker takes on Luca's team. Hopefully an upset there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hopefully an upset there. And then Jeff will take on the host of Nighttime, Emily Aaron, this weekend.
Emily, it's over. It's up. I'm coming for you.
Jeff is trying to climb the standings. Hopefully he can pick up a win, bring his record to 5-2. Hopefully I'll get my 6th win of the year, and Austin is going to try to stay undefeated against Luca. Please get us a Please get us an upset, Luka.
Hey man, all I gotta say is, bro, the sky will turn purple before I get a win.
Luka is about the 20-point underdog right now, but hey, weirder things have happened. Jeff, what is your key going into this second half of fantasy football?
Who needs to perform?
Like I said, don't remain complacent. When you have players like Cam Akers, like those type of players that are having drama on the outfield, drop them, because before it gets better, it gets worse. And we're going to see it's going to be a tuggle between Cam Akers and the Rams trying to trade him away. So when you have availability to pick up a top-tier free agent wire, do it. If you have to drop the better player that's underperforming all year long, do it. So don't become complacent. That's my only tip.
Don't become complacent. Always be looking at the waiver wire. Always try to improve your team. That is all the time we have right now. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere because we have Surefire Bets of the Week coming up.
Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh my
The
God.
NFL is gonna make it happen.
Welcome back to Surefire Bets of the Week. And Andrew didn't go anywhere. He's still joining us for his first Surefire Bet of this season. Andrew, what's one you're locking in?
So coming up tomorrow night is the Pelicans taking on the Hornets. Pelicans are favored to win by 5.5 points. I'm going over for that 100% of the day. Not only do the Hornets have half of their roster locked up, Charlotte's local police force has a better defense than the team itself. You got the Pelicans coming in with CJ McCollum, first off, playing like a true guard. He can score at will, but not only that, he's averaging his career high in assists as a Pelican. You have Zion's return, which by itself is scary enough for the league, let alone for Charlotte, who doesn't even have LaMelo. He's hurt. Who are you going to have? Mason Plumlee guarding him? Like, come on. Who else? Brandon Ingram, he's coming back looking like a mini Kevin Durant, maybe a little bit more Jimmy Butler in the bubble-esque in terms of appearance, but like he's still going to eat them up. And Jonas Valanciunas, he's going to do his thing in the paint. He's going to get not only his own personal stats up, but fantasy points. Keep an eye out for that. Unless you're in my league, because I'm kind of trying to trade for him. Don't talk to me. But I mean, yeah, that's my surefire pick.
No,
I think this is a Pelicans game to lose.
No, I think
question.
I completely agree with you. I mentioned last week the Pelicans are such a sleeper team, and Trey Murphy also had 16 in the Pelicans opening night win. Let's just say domination against the Brooklyn Nets. 22-point victory. Trey Murphy had 16, and then Valanciunas 15, McCollum 21, Zion 25, and Ingram 28. The Pelicans are a sleeper team in the West.
Look, my best friend at my internship is the only Pelicans fan I know.
You know one?
I know one. It's insane.
Crazy.
And shout out my man Ben, because he's been calling it since the start. He's like, this season it's different for them. And I say that every season for the Magic. But the Pelicans look like they actually might do it. Mr. Montana, where do you see them in the playoffs in the future? Do you see them in the playoffs?
I see them in the playoffs. I see them in the playoffs. You have someone like Zion coming back. Honestly, Zion can be the cornerstone for this franchise at this point. When he's playing, just wins come naturally for them. I think reasonable seeding, somewhere between 7th as their floor if stuff starts to go wrong.
What's their ceiling though?
Their ceiling 3-4.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
If you would have said anything, if you would have said like 2, I would have had to go crazy. Like
I'm gonna hold back from something like 2 or 1. Not holding it against the Pelicans, but there's just so many other teams like Golden State, Phoenix, Memphis, even the Nuggets that can win a game, except unless they're going to win against the Jazz. Apparently, but I mean, I don't think it's a knock against the Pelicans to say that they're going to be a 3 seed at most. It's just
that is a legitimate big 3 between Bi, McCollum, and Zion. I'm going to keep it in the West. I also have a surefire bet. The last few weeks, the NFL has not been my forte betting wise for my surefire.
So what's your record? Let's just recap real quick, Riley. Go ahead.
Luka is the only team or the only person with an above 500 record sitting at this desk. Jeff and I are both sitting at 2-4. Luka is 3-2.
Okay.
But this is my week to change things. I'm keeping it with NBA. I'm going with the LA Lakers, traveling to also LA to take on the Clippers. I'm taking the over on this one. It's set at 220.5. The Lakers had 109. They scored 109 against the Warriors while shooting about 40% from the field and 25% from 3. So if they can hit 109, shooting that poorly and turning the ball over as much as they did, I think them scoring around that area against the Clippers, Clippers are scary. Andrew, what is your opinion? Do you think the Clippers are?
You shouldn't have asked him that. He's a Lakers fan.
No. I'm a Lakers fan, but I'll be completely honest with you. I think Clippers are a contender so long as Paul George and Kawhi stay healthy. But in terms of this game coming up, I once again, I'm going to agree with Riley that Lakers are just going to get slaughtered.
I think they're going to get beat. I didn't want to take the spread. I wanted to go over under. Because I think both these teams are just going to score.
That's fair.
The Clippers are legitimately 13 deep. Their bench is probably the deepest in the NBA. Jeff, what do you think?
Oh no, I agree with y'all. If I'm gonna say anything, I would say the Lakers are like the retirement farm of the NBA at this point. But we'll have to see how it goes.
Do you think Westbrook coming off the bench is going to make any difference?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I'm such a big Westbrook fan. Of course not. Of course it's not going to make any difference. He hasn't been the same player he's been in the last 5 years. Then they got the guy, AD, after disaster, whatever you want to call that guy.
Hold on, Luka.
The guy who plays 3 games and then gets hurt.
Luka, let me jump in. You're saying Russell Westbrook coming off the bench doesn't make a difference whether or not he's starting or whether or not he's just getting minutes in general? Because he played a similar amount of minutes coming off the bench. He did start, but do you think he's going to have that big of a difference starting versus on the bench?
No, obviously, him starting and him being on the bench is completely different things because he's not a starter, not anymore. Or he just can't keep up the caliber. But him running the second unit, I can agree with.
I love Russell Westbrook to death, but I don't think he can start with the Lakers at least.
Yeah, Jeff, what is your?
I'm gonna keep it in LA. I'm gonna keep it really straight because I know we're running out of time. But LAFC versus LA Galaxy is the El Trafico MLS Western Conference Playoffs. It is a tense matchup. I love the MLS. Working for a team this past season, you see the passion, the rivalry with these fans. I'm going to take LAFC because they've been dominant over the past. I believe their captain, Mr. Carlos Vela, and all those guys are going to tear it up. Gareth Bell's going to be watching from above, being like, I love this team. I'm going to play for y'all soon. Galaxy player Ricky Puig, he has been wonderful. I think that it's going to be a tight matchup, but I can see the El Trafico going to LAFC black and gold.
Okay.
All right, and it goes into mine real quick. We got Bayern Munich versus Barcelona in the Champions League, October 26th, Tuesday, 3 p.m. Speaking of El Trafico, El Clasico was his last weekend, and guess who lost? Barcelona. They lost 3-1. They have not been the same club they've been forever. Bayern beat Barca the last 5 times they've met, and like I said, Barcelona lost to Real Madrid 3-1. Bayern is top of the group with 4 wins this year in the Champions League, and like I said, they've been on the decline. Scandal surrounding the club. Bayern is top tier right now. It's not going to be close. As of now, there's no over/under, no spread. But if whatever the over/under is, take it, and I promise you, Bayern's going to cover.
I have a quick question. Cristiano Ronaldo, what's happening with him?
Bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I couldn't tell you. I don't even think Cristiano Ronaldo knows what's happening with him. He needs to play because they lost to Tottenham the other day. Oh no, they beat Tottenham the other day actually. But I don't know. He needs to play though. That's my thing.
You heard it here first. That is all the time we have for today. You heard our bets. You can choose to lock them in. You can choose to not. But we're going to be right. I don't know. But that is all. Luka's probably going to be right. That is all the time we have for today. For Weluka Costa, for Jeff Laux, for Andrew Montana, I'm Riley Sheppard, and we will see you all next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand.